selling Wemby right now does not make a lot of sense. Wemby's cards took a monstrous dive after they lost the championship.
Yeah, monstrous. I don't know if you actually saw, but I know his silver prism, right when the final started, was going upwards of like $4,400 for a PSA 10, trending roughly around 36, 38. And then as soon as they lost, I think recent sales are like 2,200, 2,400 right now. So almost a 50% decline in like 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
That's probably a decent buy.
Absolutely. I'm actually in the market looking for a silver prism PSA 10 right now, Wemby, for that exact reason.
Hey, what's up? It's Dan McCabe with Erik Sjolie, and we are here for episode 3 of the Collectors Club YouTube channel, podcast, whatever you want to call it here. So, Erik, I know
Chat
you're at
room.
a weekend. What's going on, man?
Yeah, no, Sacramento had it's called their Sacramento Card Show. It's probably one of the bigger ones that they put on in Sacramento. It was down at the event center in downtown Sacramento. Good show. Good show. It was definitely heavy TCG. The sports card market was getting choked out there quite a bit, but there was still some decent amount of tables. It was funny. I'm in my Barry Bonds phase right now, as I've mentioned on previous shows and conversations with you. So that was one of my goals going down there, was to look for Barry Bonds, and timing was hilarious. There was actually a guy who I think was a vendor, because he knew all the other vendors, and the way he was talking is it sounds like they almost have like credits to each other. They move back and forth in product. Like, hey, I owe you this. You just want to take it off what you owe me?
Oh, sure.
Well, this guy was apparently going after Barry Bonds as well. So the two tables I walked up to, he was simultaneously working with both of them. All of the Barry Bonds, and there are actually some nice ones, he pulled out of their showcases on both and had them stacked. So I went up there. I was like, oh, you guys have Bonds. And he quickly slid them to the side and right in front of me made a deal on all of them. So I couldn't even get a chance to even look at them. So I realized, okay, that objective of Bonds might be a little tough if this guy was here while they were setting up, grabbing all the Bonds. That was pretty funny. So I pivoted. And the one really nice item I took away was, which was really good timing, was a Haaland, which I showed a picture to you. I don't have it with me right now, but it was that case hit, the Grail. I think there's a print run of roughly 100 of them. So it was a PSA graded Grail card, and yeah, it's a sweet looking card. So I got it before it was about a week and a half ago. So it was before the kickoff and the monster tear he's been on the first 2 games.
Yeah, what's he at, 4 goals now?
4 goals. And yeah, it was, I saw a stat that he was only the second player in the last like 60 or so years to debut in the World Cup with multiple goals his first 2 games.
Oh,
So
wow.
one guy in 2018 did it, and he did it, and that's it in the last like 60 years. Yeah, he should have had 3 yesterday, but one hit off the crossbar, and it was a wide open shot. So right before the half.
If you would have had 3, it would have been, I just have these here sitting on my desk. I don't even know why. I just grabbed some stacks here recently, but you would have had 3, would have caught up with that guy.
I
So,
know. He dropped another 2 the other day as well. So he's sitting at 5, right?
he's
He's
sitting.
sitting
I
at
mean, I got all
5,
these
and
guys
Holland's
sitting
at
here. Oh, there's
4.
more Messi. Yeah, Mbappe. I mean, he's been on a tear. Yamal's been on a tear. Well, not so
Yeah,
much that
Yamal. How many has Yamal scored? Because I know he was
he only
the biggest
scored
hype.
1. He didn't play much in the first game, and he only played the first half of the second game, and he scored Spain's first goal. He had a hamstring injury about 2 months ago. He didn't play the end of his La Liga season, basically getting ready for the World Cup. And they weren't sure if he'd be ready to play or not, but he came in the first 10 minutes of his, the second game where he started, he scored a goal. I think it was the first 10 minutes. It was early. Yeah, really just almost had a couple more. So he was looking pretty good for being 18 years old, I think.
Yeah, no,
So
it's incredible. It's been a fun couple start to this for the first couple weeks. Have you gone, or are you planning on going to any games?
I want to. We've looked at a couple. We haven't pulled the trigger. I'm going to be in Kansas City already during the quarterfinals. I'm going to be there for my oldest son's baseball tournament. So I
What
may
are ticket
pull
prices
the
looking
trigger.
like there?
What's that?
What are the ticket prices looking like in Kansas City?
For the quarterfinals, they're a couple $1,000 anyways, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, because I know like tomorrow's game in LA is like 4,000 for USA, which is like a meaningless game for them because they've already advanced. But
Right.
I know the one in July 1st that's actually in Santa Clara, so up here by us. I think they're running like at 5 or 6 grand a ticket right now.
Yeah, some of them were pretty insane. I could have gotten tickets to Argentina in Kansas City for $700 a piece
Jeez.
when they played like that very first game where Messi had the hat trick, and I was kind of watching them, and in my brain, I was like, I don't know, I just want them to come down a little bit more because they were on a downtrend, and then all of a sudden they went, pew, and I was
Yep.
like, oh, didn't see that happening. So, and pretty soon, I mean, they keep creeping up there, and I'm just like, it's a 6 hour drive, and we're not gonna do it. But I'm gonna be down there. Definitely gonna go to the World Cup experience and all the stuff they got going on around there. Watch games on the big screens wherever I can. Try to be a part of the environment, and then if it makes sense to get into the game. I mean, I don't know what'll happen with tickets there, but I have to imagine once teams are set, that's probably going to dictate what happens with tickets.
Yeah.
Right now tickets are through the roof on everything because of all the hype. We get 2 3 weeks down the road closer to that time frame, like, the hype might wear off a little.
Yeah.
Some people's teams fall off. Who
Just
knows what
ride the hype, though. Just ride the hype, spend the money. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. YOLO, right? So I don't know if you've been watching on social media. So I have two brothers, and we have this group text. And one of the greatest joys these last couple of weeks that brings me absolute so much joy is watching all of these fans from other countries in the cities, like in Boston and in Dallas. Have you seen any of these videos? Of like, they're partying and having a great time, right? So like the Norway team, they're playing up in New York and Boston, and all the Norwegians there are just, between games are just taking over the city and just out enjoying the city, going to Boston Red Sox games. And much like anything, they cheer and chant any chance they get. So there's these videos of like this yoga group in Times Square, these New Yorkers that are trying to do yoga, that they probably do it all the time. And then you have all of these intoxicated Norwegians like
Oh,
standing around.
yeah.
And as the yoga people are like putting their hands up to stretch, they start going, and cheering. And it is just hilarious. You see the Japanese fans in Dallas eating like barbecue for the first time and
Oh
then
yeah,
getting
I
their
saw that.
reactions.
I
And then
did see
they're
that.
drinking and they're at bars getting on mechanical bulls, which some of them probably had never seen. And they're just getting launched off these mechanical bulls. And it's so funny to see these cultures come in and blend and just watching them have the time of their lives. And it makes me want to just take the rest of the summer off and just go be a part of this with these and just get adopted by all these different countries and go celebrate with them because, the
Yeah.
Scottish, the Scots are hilarious. They're bagpiping everywhere and it's
Yeah, there's
fantastic.
tons of hype around the World Cup right now, which, my 9 year old and I sort of predicted would happen. So we were amongst the many, and actually that's how a lot of this all started. So here we are in the Collectors Club podcast, but really this podcast was spawned from the app that we're creating for Collectors Club with
Which is awesome, which is going to be
Yep.
awesome. Just throwing that out there.
And that all kind of came from soccer and from the upcoming World Cup because, and I wasn't planning on talking about this too much, but I might as well here. It came from it because my kid and I have got boxes over there on the ping pong table and the poker table of literally thousands of soccer cards that him and I accumulated over the winter and the early spring and things like that before the prices started really going up. And we had a really good game plan. I don't know how good of a game plan it is all of a sudden, but it was to get all of this now, sell it during all the World Cup hype, and then spin it up into one of the Mega Cracks Messi rookies. Well, the Mega Cracks Messi rookies have just doubled in price, so we'll see how well that works. Fortunately, we picked up a couple other Messi rookies along the way. But as I was looking at all those, I'm like, how are we going to sell all these? Because I'm not a dealer by trade. I don't run a big online shop. I own a software company, but I started looking at all the different softwares that were out there, and ultimately, a lot of what was out there I'd already built in a different previous platform that we had built, minus how we handle inventory and things like that. So that's where Collectors Club really was born from, was that idea of how can we help everyday people sell and understand their collections better and get the most amount of money possible, because eBay is tough for the everyday collector. I mean, we connect to eBay and we show you how to optimize eBay because that's important and that's part of it all, but it's difficult if you just want to sell a handful of cards here or there. You need to have more strategies than just that. So how do you inventory your collection? How do you gain the insight that you need to become as profitable as possible? And the really nice thing, and the reality of the world we live in right now, is that we can provide tools and AI to help people do that. And I think bringing in my technical background combined with my love of cards, combined with my degeneracy for my 9-year-old wanting to get into soccer cards and me being like, all right, let's go. And then all of a sudden we have thousands of soccer cards sitting around here when I knew nothing about soccer cards a year ago. I don't know, it's just kind of perfect timing on all of it. And now the World Cup hype is real. And I know that's kind of what we were going to talk about today was just market timing.
Yeah.
The World Cup hype is real.
Oh, absolutely. It's got me, someone that I've never, until a month ago, I bought in two soccer cards in my life. And when I was watching the Norwegian game yesterday, because, my family heritage is Norway, so I cheer for Team USA and Team Norway. When Holland started going off again, you absolutely know that I was on eBay putting bids in. So I'm sitting here going, and I even was laughing at myself saying, I know I'm buying high and I don't care, right? So it's just, you just ride the hype. It's just the emotion because that's what sports card collecting is about. It's these
Yeah.
cards collect emotions and moments in time, right? That's why I've shared with you. That's why I love Barry Bonds is because of just my childhood growing up watching him. So yesterday watching that, I was just laughing going, I know I'm overpaying for these cards and I didn't care. And I know thousands of collectors feel the same way right now. And it's
Yeah.
market timing and the hype is absolutely real. So it's always important.
And this is the reality. And I don't know when people are going to watch this, but come October, November, like the spike is now. Come October, November, these people that are buying up all the soccer cards right now, they're not running off to watch the Premier League and watch these players in their regular season leagues, their regular club teams. Just kind of the reality of what it is. So we bought a lot of cards and we focused on players that we knew would be playing in the World Cup. Granted, there were some I couldn't help myself and bought anyways, just because all of soccer gets a bump during the World Cup.
Yep.
But that is what it's going to be. I mean, and market timing is huge as, let's say, as a dealer or an investor, a flipper, somebody that is, trying to time the markets a little bit. Buying soccer a year ago and selling this summer makes a lot of sense. Buying football in the winter, like the after the season, after the Super Bowl, and selling it into the start of the season makes a lot of sense. There's some things that are just kind of common sense, but I don't think people think about them all the time. Selling Wemby right now does not make a lot of sense. Wemby's cards took a monstrous dive after they lost the championship, which is
Monstrous.
crazy.
Yeah, monstrous. I don't know if you actually saw, but I know his Silver Prism, right when the final started was going upwards of like $4,400 for a PSA 10, trending roughly around 36, 38. And then as soon as they lost, I think recent sales are like 2,200, 2,400 right now. So almost a 50% decline in like 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
And that's probably a decent buy right
Well,
now.
I absolutely, because
There,
I think it's been a reaction the other way, and I'm actually in the market looking for a Silver Prism PSA 10 right now, Wemby, for that exact reason.
Yeah, I think players like Wemby are interesting, and that was another thing I kind of thought about when we were thinking about what to talk about today. Like, there's market timing based on seasonality, sports, obviously things like the World Cup are every 4 years. I've got a huge, I mean, I probably have one of the biggest Jesse Owens collections out there, and I've thought about do I hold on to these or sell them? But if I'm going to sell them, I'm going to do it during the Summer Olympics sometime. But rookies are really interesting too, and I think it's an interesting concept to talk about. I did grab one here just because this kind of showcases the other side. Like, I think Wemby, Shohei Ohtani, there are some rookies that are maybe worth investing in and holding on for a while. But a lot of people will get into these young hot players, these players that are really good their rookie season. Like, so here I've got the DK Metcalf Silver Prism. It's an SGC 9.5. The reason I hold this one up is this was kind of what got me back into collecting a lot. This was 2018, I believe. It was when my oldest son, he started getting into football a lot. He was getting into collecting and he loved the Seahawks. So we were buying all kinds of Seahawks players, getting into breaks and things like that. I was buying tons of these for $10, $20. We're buying patch autos. We're buying, I mean, you name the DK Metcalf autograph. We own piles of them because we were picking them up for $30 a piece. COVID came around, everything spiked like crazy, like 300, $350 for this card, like raw all day. And we actually sold all of them. I looked at my son. I'm like, I know you love DK Metcalf. I know you're not going to understand this right now, as he was probably at that time 12 years old or something like that. I'm like, let's sell all of these now. Buy what you want with the money, and we're going to buy them back in 2 years. This one I bought back for $25. I sold, I don't know how many raw cards for 300 bucks of this card, but it happens all the time with the latest flash in the pan rookies. The cards spike, and I watch dealers do this all the time. I just hadn't really thought about it, but these cards have this huge spike in the beginning, but then unless they're going to become one of the greats, they inevitably, I don't want to say crash, but they pretty much crash. This is down 90% from its peak. I know that. So, there's only so many great players that are worth holding on to for a long time. I would gamble on that Wemby Prism Silver all day. I think that one would make sense.
Yes.
Anything Shohei right now probably makes sense. But beyond that, I mean, who are you really buying of modern players that you're super excited about? I'm a huge Minnesota Timberwolves fan. I love Ant. I don't know if I'm going to sit here and hold on to piles of Ant cards. So we'll see. But I'm not sure. I mean, I know you're buying Holland and things like that. Where
Yep.
is he going to go down in the history of soccer? I don't know. I mean, I
I've
know
I've already
Messi's going to go.
I've already given him goat status. Is that bad? Am I jumping the gun a little bit?
Yep, yep. That's why we sell to you. So
Yeah, exactly.
anyways, I just think there's a lot of interesting things we got to think about with market timing and with cards. Are you here for kind of the long haul? That's kind of what Collectors Club and our app is trying to solve, is to help the everyday person make some of these decisions, look at historical trends, look at what happens with rookies like DK Metcalf, who now doesn't
Yep.
play for the Seahawks. He plays for the Steelers, I think, still. I'm not sure if he's still there over the offseason or not, even. I should know that. I'm pretty sure he is. But this happens time and time again. I mean, Kyler Murray rookie cards. Do you remember those by chance? Holy
Yeah.
crap. Those things were going for, I mean, they're some of them were going for tens of thousands of dollars. Like I was
Or
we were at the Dallas Card Show. I don't know if you saw it a couple months ago. There was a guy who had a case of only Kyler Murray patch autos. And like all really nice ones, cards that I know were going for multiple thousands of dollars once upon a time. I don't know how you give those away now. Right now he's in a starting QB battle with JJ McCarthy, and he might not win.
yeah.
So, anyways, you got anything else you want to add or wrap up this one
Well,
with?
no,
Or
it'll be curious to see like with the recent news yesterday with the Milwaukee Bucks and Heat, the Giannis trade.
oh yeah,
Giannis getting free, going to the Heat now, title contentions. I'm sure we've already probably I haven't looked today, but I'm sure there's already a bump in his cards as well. But his market was kind of softened last year or two with injuries. And if you were sitting on some of his stuff, again, might be a good time to sell, or if you were able to get in a little bit early. But like you were just alluding to, our software is going to help detect all of that for the investor and look at their inventory and go, hey, this stuff's climbing right now. This might be a time to push us out, offer it available, set new pricing, etc. Because that's always an issue is market timing for the collector, the reseller. As humans do, we get emotions in the way, and a lot of times we guess wrong, right? So,
right.
for instance, you don't know how many people were thinking, "Oh, Wimby, if I'm going to wait, he's still going to peak. He's still going to peak. If they win, he's going to peak." And they all got left holding the bag, and it cost them thousands of dollars in many cases. But you
Yeah,
can see that story time and time again. So to have a software that's going to take that emotion out of it. It's going to be factual, relative data, current data up to the market, and be able to present it all to you to make those decisions real time. I think is going to be so valuable, and really for someone like myself that collects at a pretty decent volume. There's nothing in the marketplace like it right now. So I know it's going to be well received because, as you and I talked about in previous episodes, that was one of the conversations that I had with a lot of vendors at Dallas and at the Sacramento Card Show was managing their inventory and be able to track exactly what we're talking about here, that market timing real time to be able to make moves. Because unfortunately, if you can't get around to repricing or looking at your inventory once a month, a lot of these things move way too fast for that. And you're going to be left in the dust. So you got to be able to move at the speed of the market. That's what's exciting is Collectors Club AI is going to help you do that. It's going to help
yeah,
the average vendor, the average collector, be able to move real time like that. And that's going to be really exciting to see the adoption from the marketplace on that.
yeah, 100%. And I think I want to leave it with this story here. You're right. People buy, but they buy different cards emotionally. They buy modern cards. I mean, a lot of times we get sucked into the hype of different things. But when I was at the National, I want to say 3 years ago, the last time I was in Chicago, I was there with my now oldest son, and maybe it was 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. He was 13 years old, I believe. And we were at a table, and the guy's cases were pure insanity. I mean, it was like a museum, like high grade Ty Cobb's cards. I mean, high grade Babe Ruth. I mean, just had to have been millions of dollars of card sing in this case. It was just unbelievable. And the guy was super friendly, and he was sitting there with his wife, and I had my son there, and I just kind of joked. I'm like, looking at everything, I'm like, when do you stop? Because like he just like obviously he had everything. I
He
mean,
had everything. He was at the
he
top of the
really
mountain. Yeah.
dreamed that collection. And his wife just laughed. And then I was like, well, can I get, like, if you were to do this all over again, and I got my 13-year-old son here, what would you do? What would you tell him? And he basically just said that he would buy less and buy better, that he would utilize his collection and the stuff, he would turn it faster and get into fewer pieces that were more scarce and worth more money. Now, granted, he had cases full of high dollar scarce cards, but it made a lot of sense to me. He said when you get into this kind of volume of high end cards, then you have all these other things you have to worry about, because when you're dealing with millions of dollars of inventory, you got insurance, you've got how do you store them, how do you keep them safe, how do you keep them away from moisture, with lighting. I mean, he said there's a whole host of problems you don't realize exist until you have something like that. And he said if he was going to do it all over again, that's how he would start. He'd have a much smaller collection, a very focused collection. And I think that's kind of the direction I've been going lately, is how do I get rid of some of the thousands of cards I have, the thousands of soccer cards, and whittle it down to 2, 3, 4 Messis and Yamals, or whatever,
I think
whatever
that's
we
the
want.
evolution of all collectors, though, right? I mean, that's because it's funny. I'm doing the same thing. I was just sorting through a bunch of stuff, and I have boxes, and I'm like, oh man, it's kind of creating clutter now, right? And you start getting that clutter, and you get kind of frustrated. And I start dreaming, like, man, I would trade all this for just 5 or 6 really high end cards right now. Like you have those moments. So I think
Yep.
it's the evolution of the collector. You go down these rabbit holes, start collecting PC stuff, and realize, whoa, I got all this now. What do we do? And then it's just kind of but that's the fun of it. It's the ever changing size and direction of your collection creates kind of new adventures and hunts, if you will, for you to go after and negotiate with. And now you have product to trade and all the above, and it's fun. So yeah, I got the evolution of the collector. So it's kind of exciting.
Yeah. And that's a feature we should put into the app. And I'm just thinking about this out loud. Probably shouldn't do it on camera, but I'm going to do it anyways. But we should create the PC module where you can put your chase cards, and how do you utilize the collection that you have to get to your chase cards.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that could be kind of fun. I'm going
Put
to
like
look at.
a little vision board, your own little vision board in your app for yourself, so you kind of know what your hit list is for. Because that would be sweet. 'Cause you could pair it up. If you're a vendor in there, you could say, I got this card. It might match you up to people that have it on their hit list, and you can just start
Yeah.
negotiating right there. That would be pretty sweet.
All right.
Speaking of the national, your story. I know we're end of June here. We're about a month
Yeah.
out from national. Will Mr. Dan be in the national? Be at the national this year?
I'll be there if you come with me.
Yep, I will be there. My flights booked, rooms booked, tickets are purchased, and I also found, like I told you, I found our gym that we're going to be working out in the morning as well. I can't wait. It'll be my first time at the national, so I'm actually probably going to be purchasing some of those meta glasses, and I'm going to be vlogging for Collectors Club AI my
Nice.
first time experience as a collector at the national, and giving my impressions and probably some live negotiations and deals and all that as well. So at Collectors Club AI, we'll take people that maybe don't get the chance to experience a national. We'll try to get them from a point of view of a first time attendee. I think that'll be
Right.
fun.
Yeah,
That's
and
gonna be a project for me.
we'll be out there. I'm probably going to bring 1 to 3 of my kids. I don't know how many want to come. Whoever wants to come, I'm going to have them working. I'm going to have them out there talking
Swiss
about
Family
cards.
Robinson.
Yeah, we're gonna have them out there. We were talking about I might get a table over at the soccer show as well. There's a competing soccer show, which I think is really weird, but it's about 20 minutes from the national. But I might just drop my kids off there with a bunch of soccer cards in a case and be like, "Here,
Yeah,
go sell stuff. They'll probably be fine. They're 17 and 15 and 9. Yeah, they'll be fine." So we'll see. But yeah, looking forward to that. So, all right.
awesome.
Well, yeah, we covered a lot of good stuff here. We'll be back here in a week or so for another video, another episode. In the meantime, I mean, if any of this resonates with you, we are really looking to get the Collectors Club community built up. And some of the things you can do to help us out with that right now is check any of the links down in the description, hit like, subscribe to this channel. It would greatly help us out. And we will certainly be keeping you posted as we launch the first round of the software with all the upcoming versions and things like that. There's a lot of things I'm not going to talk about here just yet, but I can promise you that some of it has never been seen before, and we're looking forward to getting it launched and bring some really cool stuff to the marketplace.
Jump in, guys. We this is going to be, the DNA of a collector, essentially. So we want everyone's involvement, and it's going to be, community is going to lift this up from a collectors club. We're essentially building a collectors club. We're
Yep.
going to have a lot of incredible content. We're going to be rolling out some really cool things here very soon. So get on board and let's have fun, and let's just keep increasing this beautiful industry and the hobby that we all love.
All right. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.